go then. Strap yourselves in. It's Tier 2 and WHF back in 2024. And we're about to kickstart a new season then under the lights in Bahrain. Sake Circuit is built on a former camel farm just some 30 kilometers south of the capital Manama, and in fact it's not far from where we ended last season out in Abu Dhabi. Bahrain's also played host to the opening round of a Formula 1 season on 5 previous occasions, so we're better to kick it all off tonight. And here's what our drivers will have to deal with tonight. 3.36 miles of this Bahrain circuit, 15 turns, very little in terms of elevation, but a lot in terms of overtaking opportunities. The action is just about to get underway, so without further ado, I pass you over to your commentary team.
Hello all and welcome to Season 2, the opener here in Tier 2. You're joined by me, WHF Arrow and Ollie.
Bonjour.
Wonder where will he go? P14 yet to set a lap. And the Simon now crosses the line, goes P4.
Good lap.
Good lap there. Dynamic duo just behind him by under a tenth. Next across the line will be GB. Definitely one of the contenders this season. Was very quick last season, but only attended around half of the races. So we'll see. Can GB add to his win column this season? GB all the way up to P3. Cthulhu around the final corner. This will probably be his final lap. Does have enough time to go for another one, but does Cthulhu improve? Does not. Next across the line is Tactics starting a lap. We've got Charisma in the Red Bull coming up to the line. Can they improve in position? Jumps all the way to P7. Good lap time there from the Red Bull. Next across the line will be GB Sanderson, who's half a second up.
Oh, it's going to put him near the front.
Up to P2. Almost inside the 28s there. Very good lap time.
Oh, as
Callum
invalidated. Oh.
Yeah, coming into the pits. Meanwhile, Scotland 6/10 up. Could jump here. Let's see where Scotland can go in the McLaren. Unable to improve in position. We have the dynamic duo up to P5.
Bobo, he's a 10th up, so he doesn't look like he's going to improve position now, but he'll stay P4,
if
I
he
think.
nails the final two corners that he would have had to in Sector 3, potentially could finish P2 here, but needs a lot of time. Does improve, but not enough for position. And I believe that may be it for qualifying. Pneumatic crosses the line.
Got Tactics,
along
I think,
with Naka Kraka.
still on his lap. Oh, he's invalid.
Tactics is also invalid.
That's it. We're done.
So then let's take a look at the grid ahead of tonight's Bahrain Grand Prix here in Tier 2, and it'll be Tactics on pole position with GB Sanderson's Ferrari alongside him on the front row, narrowly beating Callum into second place by just a few hundredths of a second. Dobbo in fourth, and then something of an AlphaTauri sandwich behind him, Ravage and Cthulhu on the third row with Simon in seventh. Charisma on his league racing return lines up in 8th place for Red Bull, with Wedfrone's Alfa Romeo just beating Spev Fungus into 9th by half a tenth of a second. It's an all-Haas row 6, Nutomatic beating his brother to 11th place by a few tenths of a second, Dubsy in 13th, Scotland the second McLaren in 14th, and rounding off your grid tonight, reserve driver at Williams, Spiring Jewel.
5 red lights are on. Who will get away well here in Bahrain, round 1 of the Tier 2 Championship? The 5 red lights are out, and there's a safety car.
Oh no.
Warm those mediums. Only Dubsy on the hard tyres here. Everyone else on the medium tyres, as Tactics is now going to try and push out of the final corner. He's got GB for company in behind.
Oh, GB gets a run of the century.
Yeah, GB gets a lovely run in the Ferrari, and GB takes the lead of the race here on lap 1. Callum getting back past Dobo. I wonder, was Dobo letting him back through there, as GB into turn 1, skating through the corner. Couple moves back here as Cthulhu and the Simon battling for position here down in P7. We also have in the background Spared Fungus getting ahead of Wed Throne. There's going to be a Haas sending it on the inside of Wed Throne. Pneumatic unable to get through. Meanwhile, Cthulhu still side by side. Little side pod touch, and they're going round. Both of them going round. The AlphaTauri and the Williams. Both of them gone round.
Mate, what are you doing?
And I believe the Simon reset the track there. And unfortunately, that's going to be a big pain. Will score points. Tactics dives it up the inside. GB will get the run down the straight though, which may allow Callum and the McLaren back through as well if Callum wants to push. But GB now on the inside of Tactics, still side by side they go. And side by side into turn one go the Ferrari and the Aston. Both leaving each other the room. Callum 87 looking to find a way through as Tactics has a little wiggle. Callum 87 on the inside of GB. Callum
the double.
in the McLaren sends it through. Side by side they go. And Callum, he's had a half spin, somehow caught it together. And what a lovely save from the McLaren. GB now make it through. Meanwhile, Dobo and Callum go side by side here. Dobo on the inside. Can he make it through? Callum outbreaks the Alpine. And Callum's gone off. Callum's gone off.
That's unfortunate.
Callum had a moment last lap, or last lap, and then has had an even bigger moment. Meanwhile, Dynamic Duo into the podium places.
Green flag.
Dynamic Duo now. Oh no! Dynamic Duo has been spun round. Unfortunate for Dynamic Duo there. Meanwhile, Spared Fungus, as you mentioned, also going to look on the outside of Dobo as well here. Can the Mercedes outbreak the Alpine? Side by side they go.
Very deep into turn one.
And Spared Fungus make it through Charisma again here as well, as Charisma goes ultimately as defensive as you can go to the inside. Will hold the inside as well. Spared Fungus trying to skate it around the outside in the Mercedes. The Red Bull has a little wobble.
He's got him.
Has to let the Mercedes back through as he was rejoining. Meanwhile, Tactics going for the Alonso send at turn 10. It's a beautiful move. We caught the end of it, but a beautiful move there from Tactics into the lead yet again. And these two are putting on display. Tactics and GB, lovely driving here. There's
Let's
GB
see where's
exit here.
Spared Fungus compared to Charisma. He's ahead.
Spared Fungus now well ahead,
margin.
and so is Dynamic Duo. Dynamic Duo also with the undercut, but has 3 lap older hards. But Dynamic Duo now with a lovely undercut back into P6 here. And the Simon going to exit behind Naka Kraka, but ahead of Pneumatic in the other Haas. Yeah, had to clear the Mercedes of Dubsy now down the main straight they go. Where will Tactics exit? You can see the Ferrari in the background. Tactics now exiting the pits. Will GB be close enough? He is not close enough, but has he closed the delta at all? Not particularly. He's closed it by a second, but Tactics now has the fresher tyres to escape off into the distance. GB would have ultimately liked to have been inside the DRS, but unfortunately he's not. Meanwhile, Callum and Wed Throne have both
VSC
gone off, and there's a VSC out. Dubsy, the only driver doing the reverse strategy, will benefit here from the VSC.
I believe it's ending now, actually.
And Tactics! And GB as well! GB and Cthulhu! But both leaders get a drive through.
See ending, wait for the greens.
No!
No! Oh, Tactics got one as well.
Callum gets a 5-second speed in the pit lane penalty.
So that means
But
Spared
both
Fungus
leaders-
is our race leader.
Spared Fungus in the Mercedes has found his way into the lead here.
I'm gonna need to make progress quickly.
Move back up again to the front as Dobo now on the inside of Dynamic Duo has the DRS. Gonna clear the AlphaTauri driver. He's now got 4.3 gap to Spared Fungus. Can Dobo pull it off? Be able to find a way through.
He's quick.
The Red Bull driver may send it to the inside. Has a little look on the inside. Charisma leaves the space. Can he get the traction round the outside here?
Not around the outside here.
In turn 10, goes
Oh,
around
he's
the
gonna go
outside.
for
We're
it.
not getting any good camera angles.
Oh, there's contact.
Charisma
Don't.
gets the inside tactics. Is he going to have the DRS?
None of them have
Still
DRS.
struggling for camera angles here.
He
And
gets
neither
through.
driver seemed to have the DRS there. But Tactics does get through. May get back through. Meanwhile, Charisma with the DRS. Gonna shoot
Speed's
to the
passed.
inside. And, yep, speed's passed. Meanwhile, Dubsy now on the back of Red Throne. Dubsy now going for P9 here. As there's more contact between Wed Throne and Dubsy. As Tactics back through again with the DRS. Has the DRS now. Tactics no defensive. Charisma gonna choose the outside, but switches to the inside.
Good move.
Very late, lovely move from Charisma. Can
but he goes
Tactics get
deep.
the switchback? He does go deep. Tactics gets the switchback, a lovely switchback. And Tactics may even have the DRS here, and he does. That may allow Tactics the opportunity to escape from Charisma here. But Tactics now on the rear of Dynamic Duo. This may be what he needs, but he's losing the rear, trying to get the traction. But may have it here now round the outside of Dynamic Duo. Can the Aston Martin driver send it round the outside?
Oh,
Just
lovely
gets a
move.
lovely run, but can Dynamic Duo defend? He can't. 1.7 to Dobo, and Dobo continues to catch Spared Fungus, but it's not at the quick rate we
he's
expected
coming.
earlier. Meanwhile, Dynamic Duo now on the inside of Tactics. Gonna send it on the inside. Does Tactics look for the switchback? He tries to send it round the outside. He is the inside of the next corner. Side by side they go. Little bit of a
So
rebound,
close.
but they're okay. Tactics
Tactics
gets
has
back
the
through
DRS.
again.
Oh,
And
Charisma gets a
Charisma
pen.
picks up a...
Oh,
He gets a time penalty. That could be his podium hope shattered, as he now has GB in the Ferrari for company. GB could still slingshot from Charisma onto the back of Dynamic Duo, and the podium could still be on for the Ferrari driver who had multiple wins last season.
I have no game sound.
At the moment here, GB now on the rear of Charisma. Gonna try and send it round the outside of the Red Bull driver. Ferrari versus Red Bull.
oh,
Can
contact.
they keep it clean? Charisma and GB, this is a battle we've seen throughout the ages. GB now round the outside. Good
bit of
move.
contact.
Little bit of contact between Charisma and GB, but GB gets through into P5. Lovely move.
Oh, he's surely gonna have him here with the DRS.
Yeah, DRS engaged, only 3/10 behind. And you
Oh,
can
but
see
they're
the rear light
using the
flashing on
DRS.
Dobo. Dobo
Doesn't
has to give
defend.
it everything. But is it enough? Dobo round the outside, side by side they go. Tactics, can he get the traction round the outside? Still side by side, Tactics gets through. But Dobo has the DRS.
he
Dobo
doesn't.
may be able to send it here. Well, neither
Crucially
driver opened the
didn't.
rear wing. Meanwhile, GB and Charisma swapping positions yet again. Oh, and Charisma into the
Oh.
back of GB. Contact between the two. Thankfully, both of them I don't think have damage.
Oh my f***ing god, Charisma. F*** is that?
Oh, he's gonna go defensive.
With a VSE, Spared Fungus goes defensive. Tactics on the outside. Side by side they
Oh,
go.
great
Spared Fungus
defense.
with a lovely defense. Dobo watching this. Dobo clunks the curb. Spared Fungus has another straight to do it here. Can Spared Fungus defend? Will Tactics send it into the corner?
Send it.
He does send it a
Oh,
Spared
there's
Fungus
contact.
Big contact between
Oh,
Tactics
no,
and Spared
man.
Fungus. Dobo gets through on Spared Fungus. Side by side they go. Tactics gets into the lead. But heartbreak for Spared Fungus now. I'm sure that one will see the steward's desk.
What the hell? He turned in. He turned in.
Wow, I am so upset for Spared Fungus there. That is,
Yeah,
that's so unfortunate.
The stewards will definitely have to review it, but as we round the final corner here, Tactics, who had the drive through, has come back through again and will win.
Oh,
the
Spared Fungus on
WHF
Dobo. Can he get him?
opener, but can Spared Fungus get through? He doesn't.
Still gets a
Meanwhile,
podium.
GB gets P4. Charisma misses out on P5.
Let's go, man.
Meanwhile, Nakakraka trying to catch with thrown Dubsy on the back of Nakakraka, but Nakakraka will jump to P8 surely with the penalties. Nakakraka to P8, Dubsy finishes P10, Callum in P11, Pneumatic P12, Scotland will finish P13 with the fastest lap.
And after much discussion between the stewards post-race, they decide no further action in the collision between Tactics and Spared Fungus, which means Tactics holds on for his first ever win in WHF. Dobbo gets P2 and Spared Fungus completes your podium. Here's the rest of the top 10. GB in 4th after his drive-through penalty. Good recovery from him with Ravage and Charisma 5th and 6th. Nakakraka some 20 seconds back in 7th. You've also got 2 AlphaTauris in the top 10 there, as well as 2 Mercedes, so strong performances from them, and only 1 DNF today. That was the reserve Spiring Jewel not completing the race. And it's all as you expect in the driver's standings. Tactics, of course, leading the way, picking up an extra 2 points for the pole position as well, so he leads by 5 points after round 1. And in the Constructors' standings, it's Mercedes who lead the way by a single point from Aston Martin, just 6 points covering the top 4. All 10 teams have scored points in that opening round. Williams and Alfa Romeo both the only 2 left in single digits. Tier 2 will return next week for round 2 around the Circuit de Catalunya in Spain. Make sure you join us live on Twitch at twitch.tv/WeHaveFunF1 or catch the extended highlights right here on YouTube.